And welcome back inside the Kyle Corder video blog alongside John Thayer. I am Jay Elsen. Well, the USD women's basketball team, John, came into the game on Thursday against IUPUI with a chance to clinch at least a share of the Summit League's regular season title. And they did just that, and they did it in impressive fashion. The final score tonight, 69-53, and the Coyotes took control of this one right out of the gate.
Yeah, they trailed a couple of times early by 2 points. Outside of that, they took the lead and then were able to build on that, had a halftime lead and cruised on. A very physical basketball game, this one here today, but the Coyotes were able to overcome that and shoot a little better than what they did at IUPUI, avenge a loss from earlier this season, and now set them up for a chance to win the Summit League regular season title outright on Saturday.
Of course, they could have clinched it outright on Thursday night had they won and South Dakota State lost. Well, the Jacks didn't hold up their end of the bargain in that regard. They beat Western Illinois, and with Western Illinois now coming in here on Saturday, Coyotes must win to clinch that title outright and take that control entirely away from the Jackrabbits. If the Jacks win, Coyotes lose, then the Jacks and Coyotes would tie for the regular season title, but the Jacks would get the number one seed by the way of tiebreaker for that Summit League tournament. But let's get a little bit back into this game first, John. And one of the stories you mentioned, the earlier loss to IUPUI, it was an ugly one. The Coyotes didn't shoot it well, as you mentioned, turned it over 21 times in that game in Indianapolis. And not a lot went right, frankly. And tonight, you could tell right off the bat, they made a concerted effort to take care of the basketball. Just 4 turnovers in the first half really set the tone for them on both ends of the floor, really.
Yeah, and they finished the game with 8 turnovers. And on the other side, IUPUI turned the ball over 17 times. It turned into 16 South Dakota points off of turnovers, and that was the difference in the game. The Coyotes also did shoot the ball a little bit better, 42% compared to, I think, 34% in Indianapolis. But they also held IUPUI to a lower shooting percentage in this game. IUPUI shot 48% the first time around. They were under 40% in this game, and so that was big. You're playing a team that only gives up about 63 points a game, so you know points are going to be difficult, but they were able to do it. Balanced scoring kind of led the way for South Dakota.
Balance was the key because the Coyotes had seven points from 4 different players at the half. In the end, they had 3 players with 9, 2 players with 8, and 2 other players in double figures. Great balance all the way across. That's been a strength of this team all season, so that's not a huge surprise. But how about the production inside? The 4 post players were all among those players that had 8 and 9 points.
Yeah, and you get Lisa Loeffler, who had 10 points, and then you've got Bridget Arns and Kate Liveringhouse and Margaret McLeod all scoring on the inside. You knew inside play was going to be something that South Dakota had to be good at today to get this win. They lose the rebounding battle, but they're able to get some points inside, create some contact, and for the longest time in this game, IUPUI had a lot more free throw opportunities than South Dakota. It closed towards the end of that, but you're right, inside play was really what helped the Coyotes to the win.
USD outscoring IUPUI 32-16 in the paint. With the win tonight, they go to 22-6 on the season. They're 12-3 in the Summit League. Again, everything hinges as far as that outright Summit League championship, the number 1 seed for the tournament, on what happens here on this floor on Saturday afternoon against Western Illinois. This is a team they put up 101 points on the first time around, but the Leathernecks among the more explosive teams in the Summit League, so certainly can't afford to take this team lightly on that end of the floor.
No, it's a very good basketball team. They've got one of the best players, maybe the best player in the league, and Ashley Luke, who will come in, and she pretty much averages a double-double on the season. So she's very, very good. The problem is you start to shut her down, and they've got a lot of players who could shoot the ball from their perimeter. Remember, Western Illinois won inside the dome last year, and I think they made something like 13 three-pointers in that basketball game. And so when you shut down the inside, they've got perimeter players that can score the basketball very well. Coyotes, 101 points, as you mentioned, the first time these two teams met in Macomb, Illinois. But Western Illinois scored over 80 points, so they can score the basketball very well. It's going to be a difficult game. It should be a fun one.
Yeah, it absolutely should be. When we asked Amy Williams in the postgame about how things will be handled on Saturday, knowing what's at stake, she looked us dead in the eye and said, nothing changes. And you got to like that attitude coming into this game on Saturday. Again, the tip time, 1:30 on Saturday afternoon here at the Dakota Dome in Vermillion. It's a game you can see live on Midco Sports Network. For John Thayer, I'm Jay Elsen. Thanks for watching.